I am with you that I think Tiny Fork is wrong.
So the lesson here is that I should never build a PC again, or when I do, I need to get good.
No, and I'm gonna blame my uncle on this one.
So no, I don't know if you know this about me, but I do audio editing in my professional life. Like that is actually my job, like 90% of it at this point.
Audio edit this.
No, that's why I don't edit the podcast, is because I do it in my professional life. It's like
Oh,
when you
goddamn.
ask an artist to do like you a favor and draw you something, and it's like, yeah, fuck you, pay me. You know what I mean?
Oh, you didn't hear the can opening sound, did you?
Oh, I didn't. Oh, that's very funny.
Damn.
But yeah, no, don't never, if you're good at something, never do it for free. Even if it's for your friends and it's your own project that you are heavily involved in and enjoy very much, never do it for free.
So true, so true. Based. Plus
So
two.
so true, bestie. But I've been working on Michelle's been working on a film called Pressed for a while now.
Yeah.
The better part of maybe not a full year, but it's been a little bit. It's been a little while.
I was gonna say your shooting is all like well done. It's into
well
the
done.
edit
We
stage.
are firmly into the
Right.
edit stage, and we finally hit picture lock like a week ago. And so this weekend I started, and actually today and tomorrow, a lot of today and yesterday rather, are spent with me doing audio edits. Just literally so much of it is just cleanup.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna send you, and so context for, there is some sound in this that is supposed to be there, and you will hear very quickly which sounds are not supposed to be there. They're very small files, but I forget, and the like full on like self like praise whatever. I forget that there are parts of my job that I'm actually very good at.
Pause. Let me listen real quick. Oh shit! I'm not listening to both ears. Huh? Yeah, you minimize the shit out of that mic handling noise,
right? And like
you didn't lose any of that very quiet background talking.
No,
and it's still there, obviously. But
enough that if there's music under it, you're sure as fuck aren't gonna hear it.
Yeah.
And like, it's one of those things where I forget, and maybe you have this experience too, as somebody who edits audio or does creative work in general. Actually, I would throw this out to all creative people in general. I sometimes forget how much I enjoy the work that I do. You know what I mean? Like when I get to the point where I'm doing audio editing like 3 or 4 or 5 days a week, I forget, and it's like very corporate, very boring. I forget that, oh, that's right. The reason I got into this was because I fucking enjoy the creative side of it and I'm good at it. And just reminding myself and reminding, I guess the people as a whole that I don't know, there's a reason I started doing it. Like I'm good at it. I enjoy the fuck out of it. I feel a lot of pride in it. And it's easy to forget that, I think, when I'm doing it 5 days a week.
I'm very much with you. That was we're gonna get into some of the Noah back lore real quick for a minute here.
Please.
Many of you may be aware, I worked at a church for a long time before we hit current Noah arc.
The modern Noah.
Yeah, the modern Noah, man of the people. I worked at a church for the last couple of years, and I was their communications director. Very funny. You and I have laughed about this many, many times because I am so unqualified for that position.
It is never not going to be funny to me, to be honest. And that's not because I think you were bad at it, just because we both know, like, before you took that job, it was not something that, like, you had a lot of experience in.
Yeah, I had general experience in it, but not experience that was actually, like, going to be productive for it. Just experience of, I vaguely know what I'm doing. And that made me laugh a lot. Just the person replacing me. Shout out to her. She is an incredibly competent communications director. However, the job is not for a communications director. The job is for a content churner. She is she's a brains person, and she can do the graphic design, but she doesn't do audio and video. That job has needed, and I have said this many times, it has needed 2 people. One for AV and one for graphics.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, she and I would have done the job together. And in that world, I probably would still be going to church even. Who knows? There's all kinds of stuff could have happened. But, that's not how it worked out. Anyway, though, I didn't realize how decent I was at the work until I was trying to teach her how to take over for me.
Yeah, I feel that.
Because I had made so many little workarounds, so many like templates, so many things for the things I wasn't good at
Mm-hmm.
and I had made shortcuts for the things I was good at, but the things that I was good at, I got bad news, Dan. They don't make sense if you don't know the base knowledge about it still. You
Yeah,
know,
correct.
like there's a lot of I've been streaming on Twitch for a few years now. I know general live stream stuff based on that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I have been going to church for a long time. I know how to get churchy vibes. I have mixed sound professionally before, like in a live setting. So switching over to headphones it's not ever been perfect from me, but it is better than what someone who has never done that is able to do,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I had many times told the people I worked for they didn't know, not in a pompous way, they didn't know how good they had it, but I told them many times they didn't understand what they had, like how much I did, and the number of times I'm like, "I can't do this alone. I am not the permanent man for the job. I am filling a spot." And yeah, I'm doing it well, but like I am filling a spot, you need to make sure you have a plan and that you are not gonna find one person to do this job.
No, absolutely not.
And the fact that they found someone who is incredibly overly qualified. Like, she used to work at an actual professional, graphic design firm in Detroit.
That's rad. First of all,
Yeah.
can you
Um,
can you put me in contact? Does she still do client work? Can I hire her? I'm joking, but I'm absolutely
n
not.
no idea, but I could hit you with her info if you're interested.
Yeah, after the show, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
I have so many artist friends, Noah. I have zero graphic design friends. Absolutely fucking none.
It sucks, right?
I have
Like,
literally none. And it's not
oh,
like I'm not willing to pay people. I just don't have any that do it. Because
right?
artist friends
Like,
attract other artist friends, and so you get a fucking gaggle of them. If I wanted to get character art done, I have no joke like 7 people I could go to, and they'd all do fucking
easy,
amazing work. Every
right?
single one of them. If I want a fucking logo built out or like some help with like a website design, I'm fucked. I have Michelle, and she only does it like she does it in the way that you did it, right? Like it was like
Yeah.
somebody needed to do it, and
She was a
she.
more competent hobbyist than I am by a far, far margin,
But it's the same
but she's
idea.
still a hobbyist.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Anyway,
Oh.
sorry. Rant aside.
No, but yeah, um, the number of times we talked about it, the amount of times I was still like on call helping out, like as I was on my way out the door. And it's bummed me out to see a lot of the things that I built have been dropped since I left. Not as a dig against her, but she wasn't able to keep up with the stuff that I was doing. And
Yeah.
that's insane to me. Because in
It.
my mind, that's the easiest job I've ever had.
Yeah, dude. Basic.
But it's the easiest job because I didn't do it right.
Let's
Hey.
go. Well, that's the thing, right? Is I think it's one of those things that like people who are in one side or the other and haven't been forced to the ground to do the other, right? Like I work in audio and a little bit video. I work mostly audio, a little bit video, and I'm teaching myself slowly but surely After Effects.
Yeah.
And I've done a little bit of stuff in InDesign, whatever. But like,
Man, the issue with After Effects, speaking of, is it's coding.
dude,
If you know how to code,
yeah,
After Effects is easy as shit.
yeah,
But there's
exactly.
so much in it that's just, oh yeah, and then you insert the code, and I'm like, how?
How does that work? You know what I do love is that there's a good side to that, which is I don't know if you know the big secret of programmers, but like excuse me,
Oh,
Jesus. Um
yeah, no, that they all just steal code from each other forever
100%
because
of the
that's the
time
way
it's
that you
just
code.
exactly, it's
Yeah,
100% of the time just stealing code, which is not a dig. This is a steal code complementary.
yeah.
Um but that is how it works. And because of that there are so many sources for dumb After Effects bullshit that I've been able to find over the years, and it brings me joy.
Mm,
I spent like the video I did like a few weeks ago that about maybe a tenth of the yeah, like a tenth of the audience has seen at this point. The like proof of concept, like I stole every piece of code that I needed for that, every single piece,
yeah,
because w- what what am I what? Of course I'm gonna do that.
yeah. Why
Um,
wouldn't you?
but my point being is that all these platforms are so totally different and have such different specializations that like it's very hard to explain to somebody that like, hey, I really am good at like this one aspect, but the rest I really don't have a great handle on. I've been very lucky that like the production team at work, like we all kind of accidentally fell into our different specializations, right? Like I do a lot of the audio. one of the guys does a lot of the After Effects work, one of the guys does a lot of the Premiere work, one of the guys does a lot of like um one of the does a lot of like the color correction. Like these are different roles, and there's a reason that these are different specialties. That it's so hard to explain to somebody. It's not unlike and I'm guilty of this too. To be clear, it's not unlike asking artists to do graphic design work. It's just a different skill set.
Yeah.
Theoretically, they could do it, but it's not what they're there for. And it's so hard to teach across that gap because you learn how to do your thing, and not that you are unwilling, but that means everything after that is in the lens of the thing that you started with. Like it all starts at the top.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know. It's really 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 interesting to me.
I don't know, there's just it's fun stuff to get into. It's fun stuff to learn. It's fun stuff to feel good that you actually, like, know how to do.
Yeah, it really
But
is.
it's also it does give you that wild moment when you return to the stuff that you're, like, actually good at, and you're
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, fuck. That's right.
Oh,
I
that's
had a
right.
thing I was good at."
There's a reason I started with this. I
I didn't
remember
have to
now.
struggle every day back in the day
Yeah,
because I knew what to do.
back in the before times. Yeah, exactly, exactly. And it's just deeply fascinating to me this is how like these things shake out, and how like it's not like it's anyone's fault that that's how it shakes out, but that the oh well you do one thing, why don't you just do all of it, is such a, I think, very common thing, and I think it's something that like slowly but surely at least our generation is very much pushing back against, at least from what I can see, is this idea of like, yeah, no, you should have at least an understanding of what everyone else in your group does, but like you should not be the only one doing it.
Mhm. I really enjoy having a passing knowledge of a great deal of things. You know? There's there's a certain, like, real big enjoyment that I get out of it,
Yeah.
but I also I guess this is it's like the double-edged sword, right? Where since I try to do that, it becomes, in my mind, the default state is, well, everyone should at least be this interested along with me so that I'm not the only one that this, that, the other thing. Or at least that is aware of the process, you know? And I'm gonna blame my uncle on this one. Shout out to Doug. Um, Doug was a plumbing contractor, and
Hmm.
he used to tell me that you never wanna be a guy that only knows your job, because he would go into, like, construction sites to quote what he had to do, but he would show up early and just do a quick walk around and figure out what was going on. And they'd be like, "Okay, so Doug, you gonna like this? What do you have for us?" And he's like, "Well, before I can do anything, you got to get this stuff finished. Have you talked to these guys yet?" No, and you know, he would be brought in because he was a guy who knew enough with stuff like that on how to make things tick,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And
And that's a
since
valuable
he
fucking
instilled
skill.
that fear in me of not I don't wanna be the guy that doesn't know how things go, I'm like, everyone should know the base process of how everything goes. You don't have to know how to do it, but you have to be at least a little bit aware of it, and, you know, every day time goes by and I'm reminded what an absurd requirement on people that is, but I'm
It
st you know?
well, it's you know what the thing is that in this metaphor, he knew enough that he could say, yeah, you need to get these other people to do it, right?
No. In my version, though, it is expecting everyone to keep up with the number of things occurring in general. You
That's
know,
true too.
like,
Yeah, no, I see what you mean.
I can't expect my friends who simply are not into audio work to actually understand what I have going on with it
Mhm.
or the amount of a time sink it is. Or when I say, yeah, it takes me a few hours to do each episode, blah blah blah. It's just kind of a thing. I can't expect them to understand, but that's because I choose to do that because when I talk about it, of course it sounds miserable. Of course it doesn't sound like a fun time.
Yeah,
I'm talking about a job element of my hobby, you know?
exactly. That's exactly all. That is a lot of what it comes down to as well. Is that like it? It is a hobby that we do and we enjoy. There absolutely is a massive like time sink component to it that is just there's no getting around.
Yeah.
You can't go any faster than what you already are doing.
Mhm. No,
Uh,
I
and to be
the
honest, the fact
only
that
way
it
I
only
could
takes
go
you
faster
the fact that it only takes you a
is
few hours per episode of the podcast is insane. That is a fucking insane turnaround time. Just by the way.
well, it literally just depends on how focused I'm able to be because I can because I've said this before, I'm gonna say it again. We record a very clean episode. Classy off the air is not only classy in class, we're classy in how well we record
We have been
because
doing it for quite a while.
right? We have gotten to a point where I don't have to worry about weird noises. I don't have to worry about myself breathing as much,
Mhm.
like, because I learned how to monitor that.
Yep.
I don't have to worry about Jackson's keyboard noises as much. He has moved his mic a little bit away from the keyboard. Same with you. You know,
Yep.
like all our little things that are annoying, we've mostly worked them out. So I can edit the whole podcast without listening to it. I feel like we talk about the back end of how the podcast works in the editing thing a lot. And I've probably said the same story like a million times, but I'm going to tell it again just because, like,
As we
it's the role I'm on.
And it's also like,
Um,
how dare you and I talk about one of the main things that you and I have in common as outside of like doing the podcast is our passion for the work that we do.
I know,
Crazy,
right?
insane, absolute madness.
Because, like, for the horror podcast, it's a little bit different. I do a much looser edit on that, but I do it live. So I'll edit the intro and then get the intro music slotted in and the beginning of the episode after that. But then I will listen to the episode while I jump ahead and chop out dead air.
Yeah.
For the off the air stuff, because every now and then we still have some weird noise, I silent edit the whole thing. I line everything up. I make sure it's all fits. You skip ahead a little bit here and there just to make sure everything still lines up. Sometimes it doesn't work and sometimes it does, you know. There are more than one episode I've had to start to fix at the 40-minute point where someone's audio had a hiccup and I just didn't pick it up initially.
Oof.
But, you know, it's fixable. But I'll go through and I'll chop all the dead air. And I tend to cut out, I'm going to say an easy 10 minutes of dead air per episode,
Mm-hmm.
just cutting everything down real quick. And then I listen to it and do the tweaks. So
Yep.
in theory, a 1 hour and 15-minute raw file episode should cut down to 50 something minutes or 1 hour and 3, I think is our average, 58 or 1 and 3. And then I'll listen through that. So in theory, the whole podcast, start to finish for this show, should take me 2 hours to edit every week. Does it take me longer than that? Oh, yes. So much longer. It is so hard for me to sit down and pay attention to the edit. But hey, you know, I've streamlined it enough that if it takes 4 hours, boo-hoo, that's a normal podcast edit time, you know?
Yeah. No, and it's that is honestly the struggle I ran into the few times that I did do the podcast is like it's so hard for me to just sit and stare at a 2-hour audio file and just work straight through it.
Mhm.
Even when I'm doing work for work, like at about the 20-minute mark of working through an audio, and the work I do for work is a lot more in depth than what we do for the podcast. Like it's pulling breaths, it's pulling ums, ahs, it's pulling filler words. It's basically editing it's everything but editing for content, essentially. Um, but yeah, it has a lot of like it has a different requirement, but like at about 20 minutes, I start to zone. Like I really can't unless I've taken all my meds and I'm like dialed in, caffeinated, whatever. I really can't go much more than that without
Mhm.
like
That's why I
quality
do the
starting to
silent
degrade.
edits, because it's so hard for me to edit while I listen,
Hmm.
because sometimes there's a weird looking shape, and I don't know how to fix that shape, you know, and I need to know what it is. So rather than pause, move my playhead, listen, and then fix, um, I'll do the silent edit where I can fix it live and then go back and listen through the whole thing. But then while I listen through the whole thing, I can play a game. And while
Yeah.
I do the silent edit, I can watch a YouTube video.
Yep.
And it is by far my favorite thing to do is the fact that I can just sit there and watch a YouTube video or listen to one, I guess I should say. Just like some dumb video essay about something relatively unimportant while I chop up off the air and then I put it all into one thing and go.
The other
It's such a good quality of life improvement.
it is. That absolutely is. And it helps that we're doing it as the same group over and over and over again. So even things that are like I'm sure at this point you can pretty quickly at a glance recognize, oh hey, that's Daniel breathing. Or
Oh, actually, I don't pick that up, but you know what I can see?
what?
Oh, that's an
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
You
that's
get
an
you
I
recognize
know what those
the
look
voice
like because
patterns.
I can see what that shape is, and I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah. But then on Jackson's side, every now and then, like we get a hum of a big car driving by, you know,
That's so
and I
funny.
can see it, but I have to actually pay attention to clean it.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
then every now and then, there's like a couple of keyboard noises that make it through the edit,
Yeah.
or him coughing, or something falls over, and it picks up enough that I think someone's talking. I think last week the cat came in and knocked over like something in his room. And it wasn't enough for him to notice, but it picked up on the microphone enough that I thought he was speaking to me.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
Just a good time in general.
Yeah, I don't know. I know we do talk about audio editing a lot, but I find it really interesting, and I think that it is something that like we both are very like passionate about. The thing I wish I knew how to do, and the thing that you have been doing with, if you don't mind me like ratting on you, the thing you've been doing with Jeff more lately is doing editing for music, and I am
Oh yeah.
fucking fascinated by it and understand less than none of it. Like I would be lying if I said I understood any of it at all. But I am I'm the kind of guy who every like maybe 6 months to a year I re-download like Fruity Loops and I'm like, damn, this is really cool. Oh, look at that. I made like a 2 second little beat, and that is as far as I can go. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I see the nice thing about doing music stuff with Jeff is I primarily I'm not good at mastering. I'm gonna level with that. I don't think we've ever mastered a single track, but we mix our tracks.
You if you would let me, you and I should absolutely talk about that at some point, because I would love to like learn how to master working with you guys.
God, I'd love to learn how to master too, dude. All I know how to do is mixing. Mixing is the only thing I've ever done.
I mean,
But
you're
it's
halfway
fun
there,
because we have like
to be
every now and
fair.
then we have like an idea
Yeah.
and the idea works out really well. Our main hang up right now is we just need to get into the same room to work on
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
because it is very difficult for us to work on music when we're not in the same area.
Yeah, I can see
We
that.
have the bones of 4 different songs right now, I think. At the very least, lyrics selected or ideas that we just need to put together.
Mhm,
And it's going
mhm.
to be so much easier to put them together when we are together.
Yeah, I get you.
But, someday.
Maybe someday. Yeah, I don't know. It's really interesting. It's something that like I think we both have a huge. Again, it's one of those things that like we don't have that many areas where our interest overlap these days that we can still talk about, and that we haven't like delved deep into every single time. Uh, and it's fun to have these conversations. However, I'm gonna hard. You ready for a hard transition? Because I think we've ran that conversation to the ground. Uh, One thing
Please, please.
that we do both engage with and appreciate
Uh-huh.
is streaming.
What's that?
Um, okay, so it's like, oh god,
Oh, wait,
so
wait, 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 wait. I'm sorry. Jackson voice. Yeah, I like streaming. That's what I call going to the
yeah,
stream to
thank you. I was
fish.
literally about I was
Bow,
trying to
bow,
get to
bow,
I was trying to get to a fish
bow.
joke, but I couldn't get there fast enough. Um,
Only live stream I need is the one on the back of my property.
yeah,
Um, God, I was gonna try and say like some country song that fit the vibe, but I can't think of any good ones off the top of my head.
yeah, no, understandable. Have a nice day.
Applebee's on a date night plays loudly in the background.
No, but
I don't know what that song
speaking
is.
of streaming, uh, no, we talked about crowd control maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago now,
1 week ago.
1 week ago today. We talked about it as a thing that I was doing for The Sims, and so we did that this past Tuesday. And I gotta tell you, my guy, it was some of the most fun I've had streaming in so long.
I had a blast tuning into that. I'm so angry that it limited like, um, how much currency I could buy to do things.
I tried so hard to remove that
Ugh.
limit.
Which, in fairness, I also didn't have any more bits to, like, really buy with.
At that point you would have had to start spending actual money
Yeah.
instead of channel points. Yeah, so basically what I did was I had just gotten my Twitch payout like a month, like 2 weeks prior. So I'm like,
Yeah.
look, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this right. I spent like $50 for the first year for the year subscription to their pro mode, which lets you change the prices of or lets you change the conversion rate of everything. So I did that, and I
So you're
got
the one that did 1,000 to 100?
yeah, I
A
switched
10
it.
to 1 conversion rate?
Yeah, well,
You
because
bastard.
it was 100 to 1.
God, that's terrible.
Which, but if you, I mean, it makes sense if you're a big streamer. That's not that insane because you want people to
No.
spend with
Yeah,
bits.
because you want people to be, pooling their bits.
Exactly, and I don't know how much you saw the pool mechanic, but the pool mechanic is fucking rad.
Oh, yeah.
The
No,
fact
I
you,
agree.
the fact that you can pool points together with other people to make dumb shit happen is amazing. Um, but yeah, so I did that. I dropped everything down to 10 to 1 from 100 to 1, uh, which is the lowest it would let you do, by the way.
Mhm.
And I set all I like cut every single price that it had in half, except for I think Kill a Sim and Summon a Sim. I think I left those alone because I thought that those were like, if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna add someone to the household permanently, like or remove someone from the household permanently, like it should be something that you have to like work for. Um,
No, I agree.
and
I
yeah,
thought it was hilarious that the daycare one was only 50, so I could just summon 10 children to your house who immediately
immediately
leave. It's
left.
just the jump scare of children appearing.
It's so funny, and there were like, and there were some weird things like the fact that none of the things worked when we were on vacation or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so much fun, super interesting, and something that like I definitely am gonna like do. I think is a pretty regular thing now, even if not The Sims, just because like it was so easy to set up and so engaging for everyone involved. And like the fun little secret that Kesney pointed out to me is that like it doesn't just affect that stream because like some people were showing up on Saturday just to lurk in the background so they could build their channel points back up.
That's what I wanted to do. I was so annoyed when I realized that
You were gonna be at
not
Kenzie's
only was I at
hanging out with
work,
Kenzie.
but yeah, I was at a campfire and I couldn't just lurk to build my points up.
Yeah. And like I don't know, it was very cool to me to be able to see it. It was very cool for it to work. I don't know if you saw my tweet about it, but the night before I went live, they announced a RimWorld like add-on,
Yeah.
which no,
Oh, that's
Noah,
dangerous.
I can't do it
You
again. I
can't go
can't get
back to
hurt again.
you can't become one of the top 100 players of RimWorld in the world again
I still am. That's the
unless
problem. I haven't lost it. I haven't played since July and I still have that title. I haven't played seriously since like February this year, but yeah, no, it's bad. Um, but yeah, it was just a really cool thing. The number of times people got lit on fire. I literally am going to go back through that stream catalog and pull every single time someone got lit on fire because it happened so much.
Oh, so
And the
often.
fact that
So often. It was very good.
the very first time it happened, it caused a fear of fire effect,
Oh,
like status effect
so
was the
good.
fucking funniest thing. Um, but yeah, and like, and it did it, and things like, oh hey, Noah just cost me 5 grand, and then Kesney was like, oh that's dumb. No, here, have 5 grand. Like
Man, I was
the
so mad. I tried to
the
put you into debt and I gave you money by accident
that was
later on
so
in the
funny.
night. Oh,
But like that kind of like back and forth battle is exactly the energy I wanted, and it worked
mhm.
so well. And it's one of those things where almost want to try because it has so many interactions with like old school ROMs. I almost want to try.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it has a Breath of the Wild interaction. Like you can set it to work with Breath of the Wild, which sounds like it would be insane. One of them is just kill Link, like just fucking murder him
I love that.
and force a respawn, and that's gold. So I think it's something I'm gonna definitely play around with. It is now like one of like 6 programs that I have to run every time I go live.
Mhm.
Or not every time, but when I go live. Uh, but it's super worth. It's so worth it. Um, and I had such a blast. Speaking of actually speaking of video games, let me
Oh,
yoink let me double yoink this conversation. Transition into
can't
another
believe it.
transition. We talked about the Nvidia stuff a little bit. Do you want to talk about it here at all?
Um, yeah, actually, half a
Because
sec. Let me pop the video up so I can watch it again.
absolutely, yeah.
Because I'm very, very interested in this ray trace Morrowind.
Yeah,
Like,
so
what the fuck?
well, the thing that's the insane thing is that it's a it's a mod, sort of. API,
Yeah.
sort of? Like the way they're talking about it, it's not intended to be like okay, so it is a mod framework, I think would be the way to phrase it.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the video they talk about like, hey, we basically ran this. What it is NVIDIA's coming out with I can't remember what the fuck it's called, but it is a mod framework in which it will using AI
NVIDIA RTX Remix.
remix, thank you. It will use AI and take the world of a game and automatically apply ray tracing to it based on what it thinks the materials are made of. Now,
Mm-hmm.
there is a human component. They point out in the video, but like for example, like the paper lanterns that were hanging from the ceiling, the AI didn't recognize the paper material as paper, so the modding team, so like the team had to go back in and replace those with paper. But it did
Yeah.
recognize the candle on the inside of the paper lantern as a light source. So the light was there, it just wasn't escaping the paper lantern.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that's still like as far as like graphic overhaul
Yeah.
mods.
The fact that it's like a good deal of automation to help out. I think the only issue I have,
Mhm.
initial gut instinct,
Mhm.
is things are a little shiny.
Things are a little shiny, but
And
that happens a lot
that
with
happens.
that happens a lot with most what's the word? With most shit. I'll get there. Hold on.
Of that style of ray tracing.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Um
I think what I do like is I don't know, there's like some of this AI enhanced ray tracing stuff isn't bad. It does smooth out some things I'd rather it didn't.
mhm.
But what I really want to see more of, honestly, just dynamic lighting was
Yeah.
all that stuff
And it
is so neat.
I don't know if they mention it in the video. I'd have to go rewatch it, but it looked like it upscaled the textures as well,
Some of them, yeah, that's the AI enhanced worked through with that.
which is insane. That's so cool.
I would be interested to know if this is going to be compatible with other like just enhanced texture mods that already exist.
I
But I got to
sus-
be honest, even just the ray tracing on the standard game enhancing some of the stuff is kind
mhm.
of neat.
No, it's super fucking cool. And did you see the Portal video?
Not. I did not
You
because
should
Portal is a pretty enough game here. I'll call that one up right now.
yeah, pull that up
Portal is
while we're talking.
already a gorgeous game. Honestly, let me detour just for 2 seconds, right? Um I am shocked to find out that or not shocked to find out. No, that's the wrong word. My brain derailed. I think it is a crime that the just how pretty Portal is
Mhm.
never gets talked about because the gameplay is so insanely like over the top
Mhm.
and like revolutionary
Yeah.
cuz the graphics they knew where to work it, you
Yeah.
know? Like
They knew what mattered.
yeah, and it looked good and this just makes it look so much better.
Yeah,
It's
it
insane.
is insane. The fact that the like literally if all they did was make the companion cubes glow, it would be enough.
I think the thing that makes me laugh the most is elements of this just remind me of every time someone goes and in the new Unreal Engine just makes Mario for no goddamn reason.
You know what? That's actually really funny and very fair.
Like, it's one of my favorite memes is anytime people will they'll just be like, "Oh, they made Mario in the new Unreal Engine." It's like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't look good because he's not moving properly, but like it's gorgeous because the light effects work. But it works for Portal because it helps add that like weird, dingy gloominess to it.
Mhm. Mhm. In a really really effective way. It's very
Hmm.
fucking cool. It's very fucking cool and I love it endlessly.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that I'm very curious to see. My only gripe, genuinely my only gripe right now is that with that whole Nvidia showcase is that the new graphics card prices are fucking insane. Like it's like their newest like high end graphics card is like 1,500 bucks base. Like before the scalpers get to it, it's 1,500 bucks. Um, but
Yeah, that's painful.
the hope, the pray, the dream, the ideal is that the new GPU release means that everything else is gonna go down.
Hmm.
So,
Especially since crypto crashed so hard, so people
mhm,
are not buying graphics cards to mine crypto as much anymore.
mhm, exactly. Yeah, we'll say. I'm very curious to see how it goes. And I'm really hoping that it goes well because your boy is I'm starting to enter the market again, Noah. It started anew. I made a new PC part picker list. I know what I'm
Ooh.
upgrading. My CPU is fine. It's my GPU and my actually it's ironically a little bit my case because my case just doesn't have enough airflow to cool it as effectively as it needs to.
That is a problem that I when I first set my computer up, I realized I accidentally put it in a spot that didn't let it breathe enough.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna hack. It's one of the things I've been meaning to do this past week. Um, is that like I need to? So it's under my desk, and
Mhm.
I think I'm gonna move it. I don't know where I'm gonna put it just yet to be in a better spot, but like it can't stay where it is because it just isn't pushing air out. Now,
Mhm.
if nothing else, I need to get something for it to sit on because it's sitting on top of carpet, and like there's a fan on the bottom that's blowing air out, and it's not working because it's sitting on top of carpet. Um, But yeah, it's so I'm getting a new. Ideally, the goal is a new case, a new cooler, and a new GPU, and maybe a new motherboard, but only if I need one. And that's only because I so back when I was first building this computer, I broke my motherboard a tiny bit
Oh
when I
no.
was installing everything. So I did two things that were very bad. The first is that
Oh
I bent my
no.
CPU pins, which is really fucking bad. However, I've done that before. I was able to take it like a very small thin screwdriver and bend them back into place, and it all slotted in and everything's fine, right? Like everything worked. But very dumb, very stupid, very bad. But the CPU works fine. It's fine. The other thing I did is
Mhm.
when I was moving my GPU card to a different slot. So anyone who's built a computer knows sometimes those little fucking tabs that like pop it out are fucking impossible to reach, right? Like I've used
Yeah.
everything from like and I tried everything. I tried everything from like I started with my trying to get to it with my thumb because I knew that that would not break it enough. I tried getting into it with a like wooden like a wood like a tongue depressor type thing, and that
Yeah.
snapped because it wouldn't come loose. And so eventually I went to it with the side, like the flat side of a screwdriver, which isn't necessarily wrong. It's not necessarily the wrong thing to do. However, when I did it, and it finally like went, I had put so much pressure on it that it carried through. And one of the tiny little, like the little tiny capacitors on my motherboard broke. And my
Oh
plan was to resolder it,
no.
but by the time I got my solder gun out and got set up, the capacitor had fallen off like both sides of the thing, and now it's missing. And it's never been a problem. Like I'm sure it was one of one of a million redundancies, but it is there, and it is something that like I have always been in the back of my mind where if everything starts to go to shit for this, I know why. Yeah. So the lesson here is that I should never build a PC again, or when I do, I need to get good. But yeah, it's fine. It works, but I am back in the market again, and I'm a lot excited. I almost want to get to I almost want to take the time when I'm doing this to look into capture cards or at least a second GPU. Uh, because it would make streaming at higher qualities a lot easier. That said, there's also the aspect of I don't know if you know this, but if you try to stream above a certain quality, it won't work until you are a certain tier of like Twitch partner or whatever the fuck.
Mhm.
Like I don't think you can stream above 720 until you're a partner rather than affiliate, or maybe it's you can't stream above 1080 until you're a partner rather than affiliate. Whatever. But like anything about I only ever stream at 720 because it doesn't fucking matter. Nobody's watching
Mhm.
my stream for the 1080p quality.
Dude, right? That's also how that is how I decided to plan around things too, is just like it makes the most sense for me to stream in 720.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's nice to use, and it's great. It's one of those things of like I would love to be able to have the opportunity to be able to stream at an even higher quality.
Mhm.
The other thing I run into while streaming, and now I'm just talking about streaming now. This is my life. This is the whole podcast. Um, is I ran into like so I game on an ultra wide. I don't know if you know if you know this.
What?
I do. I game on a 4K ultra wide. It's great. I fucking love my computer a lot. Actually, I love my monitor. The problem is that for streaming, it's not necessarily ideal.
Mhm.
Um, it it
Because you
means
can't naturally stream in ultra wide, so you have to internally
well,
change it.
that's the thing is that you technically can like Twitch will accept non 1080p streams. Like you can do that. However, it not everyone can watch a 1080p stream or wants to watch or not 1080, sorry, a 4K ultra wide stream. Everyone can or wants to watch in a 4K ultra wide. They'd rather watch something that is in like a 1080p format because of course
Mhm.
they would because that's the normal format.
Yeah. Everyone's ready for that, used to it, one might say.
Exactly. And so I don't know. It's something that I'm like trying to work my brain around, trying to figure it out. Um, and trying to get it to the point where I'm like really really happy with it. And like I've done a pretty good job. I have like my little background overlay thing that I'm very happy with, and it looks nice, whatever. Um, but I don't know if it's worth. Like I almost wonder if it's worth trying to get a like really nice 1080p monitor, migrate this one to being a like, ooh, I'm gonna be watching something on my own, or I'm gaming something on my own monitor,
Mhm.
and get a
And
really
then
nice.
have it be a really fantastic size of a monitoring monitor for when you're
Mm-hmm.
streaming.
Exactly. And I don't know. I don't necessarily want to do that because I fucking love my curved screen, but it does seem like one of those things that over time I'm eventually gonna have to make that call, and I don't necessarily want to.
Mhm.
I'm at the least switch because it's fucking expensive. And I don't know if you know this, but fuck spending money.
You know what? I agree.
Money is not meant to be spent. Money is made to be broken. Wait, no, that's not right.
No, 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 that sounds right.
Okay. So here at Off the Air, we believe in breaking money. It's like Breaking Bad, but not really.
We also believe in Breaking Bad.
Michelle just finished watching Breaking Bad.
Oh, how'd you like it?
She loved it. She thought it was great. She thought that it
Nice.
wasn't quite as good as the hype.
It
She thought that
honestly,
people were a little much. Which I'm
I
gonna be
think
honest, I think that's super fair.
I get what she's saying, and I'm not gonna say that she's wrong. Gigantic butt. If you were there during the hype
That's
of
what.
everything live,
Mm-hmm.
that that intensity and excitement does carry over really well into the modern era where you're
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, I love Breaking Bad so much. It's such a good show. Borderline perfect, blah 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 blah." You know? So
Yeah.
like all that. But I will say, has she watched Better Call Saul?
She is going to. She has a little bit of a backlog at this point. She wants to watch
Heavily recommend
the
it.
movie first.
Oh, El Camino?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, that's fun. Because El Camino, you don't need to have watched it, but there's just a couple little like comments about like what's going on that can help.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that's nice about Better Call Saul versus Breaking Bad is unfortunately, wait, have a sec, let me look up the actress's name. Unfortunately, Anna Gunn, who played Skylar,
Mm-hmm.
she was not a very well written character. She acted as well as she could,
Mm-hmm.
you know? But there were like she was just written to be a really bitchy character.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And fans of the show are really stupid and
Correct.
unable to separate her as an actress from Skylar as a
No.
character. Yeah,
No.
no,
Not
she was bullied
again.
off the internet.
God damn it.
Yeah, no. It's really
I I
very
hate.
frustrating.
That makes me so fucking angry.
No,
When
it's
we talk on the show about how fandoms are actually the worst thing to happen to like content, that's
mhm.
the kind of shit we're talking about because my god, I hate it. And there's a certain aspect of like I can just not like an actor or actress. Like I won't watch anything with Kevin Spacey anymore, regardless of the fact that like because of obvious reasons. But like
Mhm.
that has nothing to do with how well written his characters are. Doesn't have anything,
Yeah.
it's him being shitty. He deserves to be bullied off the internet, not somebody who got dealt a shitty character hand.
Mhm.
God damn it. I hate people.
Yeah,
Fuck
no, it's
me.
really frustrating because the nice thing about Better Call Saul is that Kim is an incredibly well-written character.
Mhm.
She has personal motivations. She has episodes from her point of view, and they aren't all about how, man, doesn't it suck that Skylar doesn't support her husband who's just trying to do what he can? Because a lot of it is also people who
Still think
miss the point.
yeah, still think Walter White's the good guy. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, it's Better Call Saul is an incredibly good show.
I'm so excited. I'm excited
I
for
don't
Michelle to talk to me about it because
I don't know if I'm gonna like it
oh,
more. I don't know if I like it more than Breaking Bad or not
they're not the
because I've
same show
watched
at all
Breaking
though.
Bad so much. And that's the thing. Breaking Bad is a more actiony show. It's an action show with drama,
Yeah,
and Better Call Saul is a drama show with action. You know?
yeah.
They're fantastic.
I did get to see some of the oh, what is his name? Oh fuck. I'm it's gonna sound so bad. Uh the Black Mastermind villain. I'm losing my goddamn mind. I cannot remember the actor's name.
Um
Gus, I think is
God,
what his
yeah,
name is in the
Gus
show.
Fring played by Giancarlo Esposito.
Oh my god, I love him. And that's the sort of like I love him as an actor because I love every role that he's in, and also I like him as a character in everything he's in. You know what I mean? Like it's one of
Yeah.
those.
Oh, he's an amazing actor.
Oh, he's so good. Oh my god, he's so good. We were watching. The reason I brought him up is because Michelle showed me his death on the show. Because again, I'm never gonna watch Breaking Bad at this point. Like I'm just not. Because I don't care, frankly. Uh, Spoilers, I guess, for Breaking Bad that he dies on the show. Uh,
What?
yeah, I
Whoa, I
know.
can't believe it. No one
Damn,
knew that.
crazy. Who could have seen this coming? Um, and it's super well shot, very cool, and to the point, like it's one of those things. Where Michelle was like, Michelle hit it with this kind of the same direction that you did. That like it almost doesn't matter if I care about the show; it's worth seeing just for like the cinematography and like the mastercraft that it is.
Hmm.
And I think there's a value there. I also think there's a certain amount of I will never get around to watching it just because I know myself.
Yeah.
Like I'd like to pretend like I will, but I I don't know when I would. I still have like 6 other shows that I've not finished, let alone like trying to go start a new one.
No, 100%. It would be a lot to ask you to commit to this show of all things. It's
Yeah.
so much.
And that's not to say it's bad. It's just, it's just a lot.
Yeah, no.
In the same way that I'm not going to get back to like, I don't know, fucking uh I don't know. What are there? And we're going to go watch The Office for the same thing.
Mm,
Like
yeah.
there's so much there, and like don't get me wrong, I probably would enjoy at least parts of it, but like
I got to be honest. Here's the thing about The Office though, right?
is that it's
I
a lot
love
easier
The
to watch.
Office. I love The Office.
Mhm.
I can't tell you the last time. Well, I mean, I haven't watched it since they took it off Netflix, but like, it is not a show that I sit down to watch. Um, to sit down and watch. I have had it on as my background show for ages, but I've also watched it so many times. It is another show where if you were watching it live, or at least live enough when the
Mhm.
buzz was there, kind
Mhm.
of like Friends, where Friends, I
Yeah.
just don't like it, but I know a lot of people love Friends. I missed it. I missed the era.
Yeah, I get that.
I think The Office is kind of be the same because there's a lot of stuff on The Office that doesn't age well, you know,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I don't. Which like I'm gonna be honest. I don't care. That's
No.
fine with me. I am more than okay with the fact that The Office has some shit that didn't age well.
Mhm.
That's fucking normal. But like, you know,
But why?
if you weren't already attached to it, there's not a huge reason. Like, there's gonna be people who are like, "Oh, I can't believe you didn't watch it." Blah 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 blah. You don't have to. It's
Yeah.
okay. You don't
Yeah.
have to watch it.
And that's kind of the thing is it's like if I was in it at the beginning, I think I would have probably enjoyed it. And now it's so far down the line. It's there and there are a lot of shows like that. Like they just like I'm not gonna go back and watch the fucking Sopranos for the same goddamn reason.
I mean, I will say I think The Sopranos is worth watching
Well,
just because it is a good story.
sure, but you get the idea.
But
But I will never have
but
the
I'm
same
also
impact as somebody who watched it live and watched it like be like the most watched finale of all time at one time or whatever.
yeah. Yeah, it was the show,
Yeah.
which is wild to me. I love
Which
how
is
many shows are out there that are this is the show.
But no, the one that got him was Sopranos, which I do think there's a lot of that that's just like the time in which it happened.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. The
Like,
fact that Sopranos hit the perfect storm of the end of the mob movie era
mm-hmm,
where people were really into mob movies before
mm-hmm,
they started to get like really played out.
yeah, and it was a mob movie, but it was not like I don't know. I hesitate to even call it a mob show because it's almost like them being in the mob was like the setting more than it was like the focus. I feel like half the time from all I've heard about it,
It was yeah, honestly the point of the show is that the overly modernistic view of the show is toxic masculinity is bad.
which I love, by
Um
the way.
which
Love that.
is
Love
what
to
the
see it.
show is about, but it's not a great way to put it because it will make people get all up in arms about the wrong idea.
Hmm.
Like that is what the show is about. It's about guys like, you know, Tony's depressed and he doesn't know how to deal with being depressed. So he goes to a shrink, but he can't go to a shrink because, well,
He's
that's
part of the mob.
bad. Well, he's a man. He's not going to go talk to a
Mm,
shrink.
God,
Also, he's
that's
in
so
the
sad.
mob. He can't be out here like talking to somebody about his stuff because that's
Imagine
like that could get him in trouble.
imagine having emotions.
No, that's literally the whole thing. But then he also doesn't have any sympathy for other people going through the same thing. And it's really fun just watching these characters all collectively fall apart because none of them are willing to try and handle their problems the right way.
Mhm.
I love it. I need to finish it. I haven't finished it yet.
I feel like it's one of those things that like much like many things is that I definitely probably would enjoy it if I gave it the shot, but it's so much like we were talking about, it's so much commitment.
Yeah.
And I have a hard time sitting down and watching a 2-hour movie, let alone a what 40 hours worth of television.
If Not more,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's actually definitely more. I said 40, and I'm like, that seems low.
Yeah, 40 seemed like a real low ball for me, but I figured maybe you had information that I didn't.
Yeah, yeah. I have not. I do not have more information. I don't know. I want more short form content to consume. You know what show I've been watching lately? We've been watching College Humor's fucking. We paid like $10 over the last 2 months and got College Humor's fucking pro like premiere
I was gonna say you got
service.
Dropout?
We got Dropout, and it's well. First of all, fucking worth. Just side like not even we haven't even started on like the D&D like actual play stuff, which I really want to get Michelle into because I think she's gonna
Uh-huh.
fucking love it. We're just in like Game Changer. Like we're just watching their like game show style type thing,
Yeah.
and it's
I
so
love all the clips that I see on TikTok.
it's so worth it. It's truly like I have actually absolutely nothing bad to say about it. I genuinely feel like I have gotten my money's worth like 2 or 3 times over.
Mhm.
Um because it is like it's good. It's good. It's mindless. It's fun. It's comedic. Comedic is I think part of the big one too. Is that like it's hard to watch serious things.
Mhm.
There's a different expectation of commitment mentally that like I can sit and just kind of veg out and watch Dropout. I can't really veg out and watch like Breaking Bad. I need to actually be paying somewhat attention.
No, I definitely agree with that. It's much, much, much easier to the comedy shows are for background. They're not meant to be paid attention to. They might have stories, but they're not meant to be paid attention to like
Of
that.
course, yeah, basically. Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoy. I'm enjoying it a lot. But it's also like the other thing is it's also what's the word? Show that resets every week.
Mhm.
Serialized. Is that the right word?
There's no through line.
There's no through
It's
line.
just
Like
yeah,
there's some
it's
like
just
oh
fun.
hey yeah they're redoing a game with the same crew, but like that's it. Like that's the whole. That's it. That's the bit.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just really enjoy it. I'm glad that I'm watching it. It's hard for me to then commit to all that to say it's hard for me to commit to fucking anything else these days.
Yeah. I get that.
I'm
That's
tired.
okay.
I'm just sleepy.
I'm with you on that. I was up so late last night. Speaking I know that you're not literally talking about at this very moment,
Oh no, I was
you
also
mean
up till
in
so late
general,
last
but
night. I was up till 4.
uh yeah, well,
I
mood.
was
As
streaming.
was I.
Oh, sick.
Oh,
Thanks
that
thanks for
reminds
stopping
me
by.
actually. I was trying to fall asleep, Dan. Bitch ass.
Uh-huh. Go off.
By the way, what are your opinions on spoon sizes?
Oh, small spoon, best spoon.
Haven't you considered though that like tablespoons or maybe like a dessert spoon are the best spoon size?
That's a bold take, but that would be incorrect. And there is the gag, and the reason that Michelle brings it up is because of just like one of like 9 million random TikToks that we watch. I was like, oh yeah, your significant other has ADHD because they use this, or is neurodivergent because they only use small spoons.
Yeah.
Um, here's the thing, Noah. I do only use small spoons if I at all possibly can.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. How
Because
small is small spoon?
it's
Because
like a teaspoon, like a normal like okay, so you have like two
a
main. Wait,
teaspoon.
no, hold on. It's literally called like that. It is not literally a teaspoon size, but it is called a teaspoon. So you have two spoon sizes as like an average, normal in your drawer. There are two base spoon sizes. You got big spoon, you got small spoon, right?
Yeah.
I only use small spoon, which is I think from what I was looking at last night, technically a teaspoon. Like it is called a teaspoon. That's what I could find. I
Okay.
think.
Okay. Okay. Um, what I'm seeing here is that your average tablespoon size is simply smaller than mine.
Possibly. It is like
Oh.
it is like it's bigger than a quarter, maybe a half dollar, maybe a little bigger than a $half across, maybe
Oh.
teaspoon.
Oh, wait, but that's a normal spoon.
Yes, that size
Wait a
good,
minute.
not big
What
spoon.
what's how many bigger spoons than that do you have?
No, are you gonna make me go on camera and go to the other room and grab my spoon sizes?
No, I'm just confused because that's just a normal spoon. I don't have bigger spoons than that.
Oh, really? I have
I
two
have
spoon
smaller
sizes.
forks.
Oh.
We have tiny fork and big fork.
I think tiny fork is wrong though.
I am with you that I think tiny fork is wrong.
There are exceptions.
There's
Like I will
just
have like with dessert, like dessert tiny fork. Good move. Bold, dramatic even.
yeah, I like tiny fork for dessert.
Tiny fork for dessert.
But like,
I can get behind it.
and I like big spoon for soup.
I will accept big spoon for soup. Because I do think that it is worth being able to take those bigger bites. However, I'll be honest.
It's honestly just so I can get a mouthful of broth without having to lift the bowl to my face. It's a laziness thing.
Even with soup, I usually go small spoon.
God damn you.
Listen, I don't need to be right. I know where I stand on this. Listen, we had a whole, so for context for this, I assume somebody told you, but we had a whole, like,
debate last night?
Like a 30-minute debate about spoon sizes, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I heard about, well, I didn't hear about that. I was just told next time I record a podcast with you, I need to ask you about your opinion on spoon sizes.
Was it high?
And that maybe dessert spoons are the best. How big is a dessert spoon?
Dessert spoon is wrong.
Oh, is it the big round one?
Yeah, they're the big, they're like the long boys. They have like the long handles.
Oh, wait, no, I'm okay with those spoons.
I'm seeing two. I'm seeing the long handles and I'm seeing the ones that are like oddly shaped.
I'm having an issue. Like, I think the issue here.
Hold on. I'm looking up spoon set. Hold on. I'm looking up spoon set on Amazon, and I'm just we're gonna pick a spoon set. We're gonna pick a spoon set, and we're gonna decide based on this one image what is the correct spoon size.
I'm gonna laugh a lot if this is gonna end up being the thing that you grabbed. Oh, it's not. Okay, so I'm looking at it. I'm looking at this thing here. I'm gonna send you what I have.
I'm looking for a bunch of different spoons, and I'm only seeing ones that are like 2 sets of spoons.
Here, this is a size comparison of spoons. We have all the way from an espresso spoon, far too tiny spoon, a weird square ice cream spoon, which is upsetting to me.
Yes.
Can we agree?
Yes.
Okay. The coffee spoon, which is a large espresso spoon.
Yeah, it's small.
In theory,
I think that might be a little on the small side.
Then you have your perfect spoon, the teaspoon.
Correct.
But then there's the cream soup spoon,
which is like the rounded one.
Yeah. The gourmet sauce spoon,
which has a little notch so you
can
pour your sauce fancily.
We have a dessert spoon, which is a normal looking spoon to me. That's a good size spoon in this set, dare I say. Standard soup spoon, and then tablespoon on top of that. Which is just too dang big. I gotta be honest, man. I'm not sure if I can side with you anymore, because in this scale,
I think dessert spoon is acceptable. I will accept a dessert spoon.
Okay, because it is
this specific scale. It is still the.
You
small
just need. Oh, I'm seeing the thing. You just need to have 2 spoon options, and you need the smaller of the 2.
Correct. That was the original argument. It was just of 2 spoon options, you are handed 2 spoons. Which are you picking? Are you picking the bigger or the smaller one? That was what originally came up.
That's the whole thing. That's
where
actually
it started.
Very funny to me.
That's where it started. And then we were like, all right, what is actual spoon sizes? Because apparently fucking different places are different spoon sizes. Like I was seeing dessert spoons that were like bigger than soup spoons on when I was doing my research last night.
Yeah.
Which is wrong. No, it's too big.
I agree.
And then Hai had the audacity to say something to the effect of, I want that spoon down my throat.
What?
And he said he wants big spoon that barely fits in his mouth. He wants it down his throat. I think he wasn't talking about spoons anymore.
Only want a spoon that big, and I'm talking about spoons for soup. A brothy soup. I got, Dan, here's my controversial thing that I do sometimes. I eat ramen with a spoon and fork.
That's fine. I don't think it's that
I
bad.
can see some people, such as me, for example, being a big old hater and saying, why the fuck would you do that? You degenerate. Why would you do that? But spoon and fork is good for ramen if you're not going to spring for like trying to figure out like chopsticks in the moment because you're just kind of hungry and you don't feel like, okay, fine. Make fun of me, Hai. I'm going to get the DM. What do you mean figure out how to use chopsticks? Okay, you can stop now. Thank you, Hai. Thank you.
double Hai call out in one episode. You love to fucking see it.
The man yelled at me last week for not liking donuts. He sent me a picture of donuts and he's like, hey, fuck you. I'm eating donuts right now. I'm like, did you listen for 2 more minutes, Hai? You will learn that I too love donuts. And he's like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm live tweeting my reaction.
If it makes you feel better, I actually also had donuts this week.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
And I was reaffirmed that Dunkin' Donuts no longer does blueberry donuts, which is a war crime.
That's honestly a tragedy.
Sure, this is frankly discriminatory. I'm so mad about it. Anyway, no, I don't think it's unreasonable to eat your ramen with a spoon and a fork. I think that's fine. Fuck it. One of the other things that came up was rice bowls. So like a Chipotle bowl. I'm of the opinion that it's annoying to eat a Chipotle bowl with just a fork.
Oh, no, I'm very much I'm a spoon guy when it comes to small items like that.
Don't get me wrong, I want
I want a
a
fork to pick up meat chunks.
exactly. I want a fork available. But I should not have to. I should not have to be bullied for for eating my rice based dishes with a fork and also a spoon. Uh,
Who's doing that?
who do you think is doing that? Who do you
Michelle?
think? No, the only other person lately that would roast us in this manner.
Kez.
It's Hi.
Sam. Hi. No, Hi would never do that. No, no, no. Hi is a saint. Hi is a good, good boy.
You know what? That is true. I shouldn't have I shouldn't disparage against High. He's
Yeah, that's right.
only ever done good for us. Never
Exactly.
said anything heinous.
Never.
Um
And he definitely, if he were here right now, wouldn't make fun of you for eating your rice with a spoon and fork because it would be funnier to gaslight you.
I did also say I'm gonna here's a really actually genuinely controversial take. You ready?
Oh no.
I don't like eating rice based dishes with chopsticks. I think it's fucking annoying.
I think there is a way to do it.
hmm
Um, but I think that the way to do it definitely doesn't translate well to how many Americans make rice.
Yeah.
Because the way to do it would be to
Just have
take a
stickier
thing
rice.
and then you pick up a lump of your stickier rice that is
Mhm.
usually plain, but the way that I tend to prepare my rice is usually A, not as sticky, B, more importantly, in a big old lump together. But I will also say I do like eating my rice with chopsticks because it's just like then I don't have to have more than one thing out in the living room with me. I'll just have chopsticks in a bowl,
That's fair.
and it slows me down.
Yeah, that's extremely fair,
As a
actually.
fast eater, I am a big fan of things that make me eat slow.
Yeah, well, that's why small spoon.
No, 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 no.
Small spoon forces slow eating.
Small spoon may force slow eating, but you know what else it does? Force inadequate bite distribution of flavors.
That's fair. I can't completely disagree with that. I would like to, but I can't.
Primarily because when I'm talking about spoon eating, I do think about soup. Is it because I had soup for breakfast? Maybe.
Why did you have soup for breakfast, Noah?
Why wouldn't I have soup for breakfast? I have soup in the fridge.
You know what?
Oh,
That's
I'm
fair.
sorry. Am I going to go cook food when I have perfectly good cold soup?
Man, I got to cook Michelle breakfast the other day, and I never get to do that. I really don't, because I'm just literally not because I'm like a bad husband, just because I never get up before she does. Like she's always up before me, and like made some fucking pancakes with cinnamon and vanilla, and it turned out so well. I'm so proud of myself. Just a little like, oh man, happiness in my life. Not like I'm not looking for brownie points. I'm just happy about it. Like I'm happy it all
It's
worked
just
out.
fun.
Dude, I love cooking for other people. I hate cooking for myself. I would rather literally eat nothing but cold ramen every day for the rest of my life than cook for myself regularly. Um,
I'm not with you on that, but I
no, that's
get it.
fine. I just it takes so long and I get nothing out of it but food. And like the food, it's also why I always cook in bulk when I'm cooking for myself. Like I made Michelle was out of town a week ago. I think I talked about this on the podcast. I made chili day one and ate the following days about 8 servings of chili, give or
Yeah.
take.
Yeah, that's just how cooking work.
Yeah.
I love cooking and that's how I do it. So I don't think you're doing it wrong.
Okay, good. I'm very glad. I was worried. It felt like
No,
I was doing it wrong.
anytime I make a thing, what
Mhm.
I end up doing is I make a pot of the thing. Nina gets sick of that thing very quickly, but I eat that pot of thing for a week and then I
Mm,
change to a new pot of thing.
that's fair. Yeah, and that's kind
It
of my
works.
thing. I like eating the same thing many days in a row. I get and I respect that most people don't.
I
But
top out at a week, but yeah.
a week is I think reasonable. Anything more than a week, and you really are getting into like everything tasting the same because it's the same food.
hmm Yeah, you do have to be a little careful.
At a certain point, no longer fun,
But you
or
know
maybe
what
not.
else is at a certain
No,
point no longer fun?
the podcast got them.
Yeah, listening to us talk.
Also,
So we're
not
gonna give
true. This
everyone a
podcast is
you're
always
welcome.
fun. I enjoy it immensely every time. I do not stand by Noah's bad take that sometimes the podcast is not fun. Um,
Wow. 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 Wow.
I'm not
Okay.
even go so far to say Noah, bad friend.
Damn. I
Bad
can't
friend for
believe it.
saying it.
You got me. I've been found out as the bad friend. It's me
Noah
all
Bad.
along.
Good old Noah Bad Friend. I like it. I like the take. I like where we've gotten today. I like how it's all been. I like where we're at.
I'm glad one of us does.
I'm going to bed.
Have a wonderful night, Dan.
And you also have a wonderful night.
No, fuck
The
you.
audience.
I'm gonna have a terrible night.
The audience have a wonderful night.
Oh, yeah. You all have a wonderful night, too. Many of you are listening to this on your way to work.
You all have a wonderful day at work.
Don't have a wonderful night yet.
Ordeal.